morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair Kafori and County Commissioners. My name is Shar Penny, and I'm with the Lents Neighborhood Livability Association. I would like to address the proposal of Jordan Schnitzer to use Wapato as an option to address the growing number of service-resistant, mentally incapacitated, and drug-addicted individuals living on our streets. We are tired of throwing money away at TPI, Home Forward, Join, and other commercial ventures who are only in this to make money for themselves. They may have once been compassionate and sympathetic to the problem, but are now only using this sector of the population to pad their own pockets. If there was no money to be made in this venture, you wouldn't have every Tom, Dick, and Harry starting a homeless shelter. Visibly keeping people out on the street is a fundraiser for the city and county to provide us proof positive that we need to pass more bonds under the guise of building affordable housing. Selling that idea as a solution to the current situation is absurd. Anyone with any intelligence knows that the affordable housing is never going to address this sector of the population. Let's start addressing the issue by actually using that money to open a facility that can really start working with these people to get them back into society. I know this idea of Wapato has been brought up and dismissed, but the reasons for this dismissal are clear. Who profited from purchasing Wapato for a mere $5 million plus when it cost us taxpayers $58 million to build and then another $300,000 per year for 14 years to maintain? Now we are questioning whether to pay more taxpayer money to open it up as a center to help these people. We are already paying for these people to live in shelters, on the streets. Covering the cost of medical, fire, police, and cleanups is costing us millions per year. If you take all that into consideration when looking at the cost of housing them at Wapato, I'm sure the cost would be no more and hopefully a lot less. Look at the solutions from other cities and countries that have addressed this problem. You will no doubt find out that temporary, low-barrier shelters were not the solution. Why not adopt permanent solutions over a temporary Band-Aid? We are fed up with this whack-a-mole mentality that you are endorsing. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Kafori and Commissioners. My name is David Potts, and I'm with the Lents Neighborhood Livability Association. It occurred to me as I prepared to leave for the meeting this morning that there is one certainty I could count on. No matter what route I took, I would see countless tents on the way. Our county and city have spent millions on the region's most pressing problem, homelessness, and there is little evidence that anything has been accomplished. We hear reports of how many people have been helped by this program or that, or how many have been placed in permanent housing, yet there are still enough tents here to populate a small city. Clearly what is being done is not effective. Livability in Portland and Multnomah County continues to erode, especially in East Portland. A large criminal population hides amongst the pervasive homeless camps that millions of dollars spent on shelters and subsidized housing have not touched. We will never trust that the county cares about East Portland until you address our safety and livability. Another shelter or a subsidized housing complex is not going to make life better for us. Closing a jail dorm and reducing district attorney staff is certainly not going to improve our livability either. We need the criminals out of our neighborhoods. The mentally ill and drug affected need treatment facilities, not warehouses run by the shelter industry. A facility like Wapato to house and treat the service resistant would be a great first step towards real progress. I know you could not wait to unload that property to your good friend Jordan Schnitzer, but you failed to make certain he would tear it down. Catching and releasing the service resistant is not working. Get them real help now. Make our region livable again. We will not trust you with another bond measure until you demonstrate a willingness to actually address the livability of our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thanks for coming this morning.
Christy and Maggie.
Good morning, ladies. My name is Christy Penny, and I'm a long-term resident of Portland, Oregon. I am here in support of the LNLA. I am also a former lead dispatcher of Portland 911. I was there for 20 years. I left my career that I absolutely loved 5 years from retirement, a huge part due to the homeless situation. The last call that I took was from someone calling on 911 regarding a transient stealing his backpack who was fleeing on a bicycle. As I was taking that call, I was looking at the 911 call queue holding 911 calls holding for over 15 minutes. I have personally know of situations where people have died holding, trying to get through on the phone lines because they're saturated by homeless people calls. I've sat at police dispatch watching hot calls hold where people are literally beating the crap out of each other, and there's no one to go because cops are dealing with homeless people. This situation is out of control. It's almost to the point of no return. My parents, who run the LNLA, are retired, and they are spending their personal time and money trying to rectify this situation along with citizens. Again, I personally know, I've seen the backside. Over 50% of the calls coming into dispatch are related to homelessness somehow. There needs to be something done. This method of adding a Band-Aid, adding a PPB liaison up at BOEC to field homeless calls, adding someone in the city to deal with the issue is simply putting a Band-Aid on the situation. These people need to be moved off the streets. One of my neighbors 2 months ago was stabbed walking her dog by a homeless person who fled on foot, never caught. Another neighbor had a home invasion in the middle of the night. Someone, a drug-addicted homeless person, walked into their home and he pulled a gun. That person ran, but it took the cops 30 minutes to respond because they're constantly dealing with homeless issues. Yes, part of this is a staffing issue, both inside the Bureau of Emergency Communications and with Portland Police. That is being addressed slowly but surely, but the issue of having these people everywhere in the city where people are not safe. I cannot go to my local Gateway Fred Meyer's anymore after dark for fear of being a victim of crime. That place, after dark, you walk in the store and 80%, you can tell they're homeless and they need to be moved off the streets. Enough is enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hi.